Welcome back to the Delaware Way. I'm Larry Mendte. We're joined by Governor Jack Markell. Thank you again for being here. I want to talk about last week, the state auditor, Tom Wagner, released a report, and he's very interested in your credit card receipts. It says here, Markell on 9 separate occasions upgraded to preferred or choice seating while on taxpayer-funded flights. Against state travel rules, Markell, like other officials reviewed, also regularly failed to authorize out-of-state travel. How serious is this, and would you like to respond?
Well, I didn't upgrade anything. There were times when typical economy seats were not available, and they put me in economy plus, not in business class, not in first class, in those economy plus seats. It may have been an extra $15. I think on the 9 flights, it was a total of about $200. So, I think the report generally, it complains that the system is too bureaucratic, and then also complained that I didn't fill out forms. For example, when I travel, even though I don't seek a personal reimbursement, the auditor said I should have filled out a personal reimbursement form, even though I don't seek a personal reimbursement. So
a lot of it's paperwork?
That's what it certainly sounded like to me.
Do you know how much money this is?
A couple hundred, I think total a few $100s.
Are you going to just repay it? Or?
I have, first of all, there was nothing that I did. There were absolutely no trips that he found were inappropriate, no spending that was inappropriate. It was literally paperwork.
Okay, let's move on. I-495. The I-495 bridge, dirt was piled up over years, knocked out an abutment. And at first, when they talked about it, they said that it was going to take until Labor Day to fix it. And some lanes are already open on it. When do you think the entire bridge will be open for travel?
The expectation is by around Labor Day. Frankly, everything that could have gone well during the last month did go well. So the team, the contractors did a great job. They worked very, very quickly, worked 24/7. And so southbound is open, which is great. We still have to get northbound to go. And, we're pleased that southbound is open, but we also know this has been an incredible inconvenience for a lot of people.
Who knew about this? Has there been a state investigation into how this happened?
We have. Unfortunately, we do a very good job of bridge inspection. We do it every 2 years. We probably have one of the best bridge inspection programs in the country. We know exactly what the state of all these bridges is.
You say that, but how do you miss this?
Well, because when people go inspect bridges, they're not looking at the ground to see if dirt's piled up. And I think this is true across the country. And I think this has been a learning across the country. After we discovered this at 495, other states sent a lot of their inspectors out to make sure that there was not dirt piled up. People are looking at the bridges themselves. So it was a learning. It was a learning for us. And, for example, we know now if people call in about the bridges, we actually have to send out bridge inspectors. We did get a couple of calls about problems with the bridge. We sent out sort of more generalists who didn't really know what to look for as much, and that's something that we'll have to fix in the future.
Tens of thousands of tons of dirt. Is it believable that that was just missed?
I think it's very believable. When you said it was there for years, I don't know how you know that. Because
that much dirt has to be piled up over a certain amount of time. He only had one truck dumping the dirt,
no,
right?
That's not true. And I think it's important when you get into this to know the facts. And in this case, the inspection was done within the last year and a half or so.
But you just said that the inspectors weren't looking at the dirt.
The bridge was fine. The bridge was fine. And so when they inspected a year and a half ago, the bridge was absolutely fine because we send people out. They look at all the necessary pieces. So in the meantime, I think there is a learning here for all of us. And the fact is, people across the country apparently when they inspect bridges, they don't think to look at the ground. And so I think we've seen. Unfortunately, we had this problem in Delaware. We're very appreciative of the patience of all the drivers in Wilmington. And also appreciative of the great job the contractors have done.
You said it's important to get the facts right, so you know for a fact this hasn't been going on for years.
Well, what we know is that when the bridge was last inspected, and we've released what that date was, the bridge was absolutely fine.
So any investigation into who know what and when is done as far as the state goes?
I'm not sure it's all done. I think it wasn't that complicated because the engineers were able to go out. They figured out the problem was in fact the dirt on the ground. So we know that the dirt has been taken away. Once the dirt was taken away, the bridge stopped moving. So it was very clear that happened in terms of why they put it there, whether there was a violation of law and the like. I think that's all. I think that's still being looked at.
Should there be a federal investigation into it? It's a federal property.
I think when all the facts come out, then the federal government can decide.
Okay.
But I will say in the meantime, the federal government's been incredibly supportive and very, very responsive. The Secretary Fox was on this from the very beginning, and we're certainly appreciative of that.
It was a good day when President Obama was here. Did you get to talk business?
No, it was brief. You know, he came here really as a vehicle to talk about the importance of infrastructure investing across the country.
Crime in Wilmington, unfortunately, when you look up Wilmington and crime, it tops the list as the unsafest small city in America, and it's embarrassing for city officials. I'm sure the state has been involved. Does the state need to get more involved in fighting crime in Wilmington?
Well, we meet, myself, the congressional delegation, who's been very supportive. We meet with the mayor on a pretty frequent basis. Just last week had the Attorney General's office in to one of our cabinet meetings to talk with all the cabinet secretaries about how we can all focus on this issue together. And I think, when you think about this crime issue, certainly policing is important, but there's a lot more to it than that. There are a lot of big focus on the root cause. Some great work going on now at the thanks to the Hope Commission in terms of reentry. 97% of the people in our prisons are going to be coming out, and the question is, what kind of path do they get on when they come out? So I think a lot of different entities are coming together to work on that. So there's a lot of work, everything from focus on early childhood to getting people back to work. The unemployment rate in the city is higher than it is in much of the state, and so we need to continue to focus on all of those issues as we do on policing. And
it seems like much of the problem is heroin, and I know the state's been adamant about trying to defeat the heroin problem.
There's no question the drug issue, and I think if you talk to the mayor, he'll speak very eloquently about the challenge that the drug issue really represents on a lot of this crime. I mean, so much of the crime, so many of the shootings are people infringing on another dealer's territory.
We tend to always focus on the news of the day, and I know as governor you don't have that luxury. You have to focus on long-range problems. You've been in Washington talking about carbon emissions. You've also been talking about what to do to improve education in the state, and we'll talk more about that when we come right back on the Delaware Way.